RE2, we are back, of course, talking some Final Fantasy. We don't really have anything like substantial to talk about today, I wouldn't say, like one specific thing. But we do kind of have like an info kind of news roundup video, which we haven't really done in quite a long time. We're talking some Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, we're talking some Final Fantasy 16, also the Magic the Gathering crossover, and potentially other shit, depending on what I can find out there. So as for Tactics, they announced this today, introducing State of the Realm, a handy feature in Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, that will provide more information about the characters in the world of Ivalice, as well as the story thus far between battles. This is a very handy new feature when it comes to Ivalice Chronicles, to kind of help you with like the story and the lore, if in case you need that, or you just want to read up on the lore, read up on the characters, things like that. It's very reminiscent of like the active time lore in Final Fantasy 16, or if you talk to Vivian in the Hideaway in 16, where you can kind of learn all like the characters' histories and interactions and things like that. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be quite that in-depth in Tactics, but it's at least a comparable thing, right? And it makes sense because it is Creative Business Unit 3 that's making Tactics, which, of course, made 16. From what I can see from the community, though, it's a very beloved feature. I don't think I necessarily used it. Like, if I wanted more lore, I could have went and read those in the menus and shit, but I didn't feel like I ever needed it. I kind of understood the story, understood the interactions of characters, things like that. But it is a very nice feature to kind of immerse you more into the world. The other bit of Tactics news that we have is a pre-order bonus, specifically from Amazon. As of right now, I don't know if we have anything else like that. I've checked Target, Walmart, Best Buy, the Square Enix store, and I've yet to see any other places offering something. That doesn't mean that they won't, but just like right now that I'm aware of is just Amazon. And what that is a double-sided poster. Now, the picture they put out on Twitter is not the best quality. And even if you go over to Amazon and you pull up this picture, it's also not the best quality. I'm not really sure why that is. Taking a closer look at the picture, though, with the front image, it appears to be like, I think all the different jobs going around the edge of the picture. And on the backside, which is the behind image that you don't really get a good look at, I think it's showing like the path for unlocking different jobs. I believe how it works in Tactics, it's been a while since I played the game. Like, you just learn like a certain amount of abilities in a class or multiple classes to unlock another job, right? Something like that. I think that's what that back image is. Which, that's not bad, I guess, but I would have preferred either of those images and then the reverse side just being like the cover art. I don't know why they chose this, like the two different like job-related images or whatever. And they're not like bad images or anything. I just would have preferred personally like the cover art image, or at least on one side. But regardless, it is the only bonus item currently, right? If you pre-order from Amazon, you're getting the pre-order bonus items that we talked about in the previous video, but also you're going to get this poster. And if no other place ends up offering some sort of pre-order bonus item, like this is right now the best place to buy it. But also I'm going to cover this in the video to let you guys know that we'll do a follow-up at some point if there are other pre-order bonus items. Generally, people want like the Steelbook case from Best Buy, so we don't know if that's going to be a thing yet, if they're going to have a Steelbook case for the physical copy. And whatever else, if there's going to be like a Walmart bonus, a Square Enix store bonus, all that type of shit, right? So we'll do a follow-up at some point if we need to. We're sticking with CBU 3 now because we're moving on to Final Fantasy 16, and they announced a couple of books coming out next year. You can pre-order them now, of course. And they announced this like the day after the Xbox announcement. So first up, we have Introducing Logos, the World of Final Fantasy 16. Told by scholar Harpocrates, the illustrated lore book uncovers Valstia's history and secrets with guest writing by voice stars Ben Starr, Clive, Stuart Clark, Dion, and Christopher York, Gav. So this book is $45. It has 368 pages, and it's releasing March 31st, 2026. Also, if you go over to the Square Enix store, they do have a couple of preview images. We're not going to sit here and like look at all this and read all this or whatever, but you can if you want to. Because I thought this book was cool because it's told from like the perspective of Harpocrates, but also they have like some of the voice actors coming in and writing like stuff about their characters, like I guess maybe from the perspective of the characters and shit. Pretty cool, man. It's not just like a simple lore book just explaining shit in the world. I like the idea of it being from the perspective of a character. And the other book we have is an art book. They say, Return to Valstia with a stunning 92-page art book featuring DLC concept art from Final Fantasy 16 Echoes of the Fallen and the Rising Tide with exclusive illustrations by lead artist Kazuya Takahashi. So this book will be $25, and they already told us the page count in the tweet, but it'll be 92 pages, and it's releasing May 5th, 2026. And of course, over there on the Square Enix store, they do have some preview images to look at, which look great. I mean, it's the art, the aesthetic of Final Fantasy 16 is amazing. So of course, the art is great too. By the way, the top reply on Twitter, at least whenever I was looking at this, was somebody talking about the cover art for this art book not being as good as the previous art book, which is weird because they're not really all that different. Like, it's Clive and Joshua instead of Clive and Jill, and they're almost kind of like they could be continuations of each other. Like, Clive's posture's a little bit different. He's looking down towards Joshua, kind of, as opposed to looking forward, right? But he's almost kind of in the same position. You could almost like overlap the images, and they're like the same image or something. Like they're one complete image. Also, I guess we're ignoring the part where it says cover not final. But yeah, as they say on the website, it is a companion piece to the previous art book, which is kind of similar to like the Material Ultimanias we got for Remake. I don't think we got a Material Ultimania Plus for Rebirth, if I'm not mistaken. But with Remake, we did, right? We got a Material Ultimania, and then I think after like the PS5 version came out and the Yuffie DLC came out, they did the Material Ultimania Plus. They included stuff from the DLC. When it comes to the Magic the Gathering info that we have, with the Final Fantasy set that's coming out, I believe tomorrow, it is the best-selling set in the entire history of Magic the Gathering. I'm not just talking about the Universe Beyond collabs, right? With like, Marvel and Fallout and Lord of the Rings and shit. This is the entire history of Magic the Gathering. This is the best-selling set ever. So Popverse put out an article about this earlier today that says, Magic the Gathering's Final Fantasy crossover is already the top-selling set in Wizards of the Coast history before it's even come out. Beating out the likes of Marvel, The Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who, Jurassic Park / World, and Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy is the reigning champ of not only Magic the Gathering's Universes Beyond crossover sets, but all of Magic the Gathering sets, period. I'll give you a minute to let that sink in. The CEO of Hasbro, Chris Cox, hell of a spelling on that last name, by the way, confirmed the news on an investor's call in April. Final Fantasy will be the best-selling set of all time on day one. It already is, Cox said during the question and answer section of the call. What's crazy, too, is as I mentioned there in the article, the investor call was in April. That was 2 months ago. 2 months ago, it was the best-selling set in Magic the Gathering history, right? So where is it at now? Like, how much more beyond? I'm kind of curious on that, too. Like, what was the best-selling set before Final Fantasy, right? And how much better is this set doing than that one? I do kind of explain in the Popverse article why this may be. Like, for one, there is crossover appeal with, like, video games and trading card games, kind of that nerd culture as it used to be back in the day, which is very true. I mean, I definitely, grew up playing, trading card games and video games at the same time. Like, I've probably been playing trading card games as long as I've been playing video games, I've been playing, started with Pokemon and then eventually into Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And shit. And still to this day, I dabble in some Yu-Gi-Oh! There's very good odds that a lot of Magic the Gathering players played some level of Final Fantasy, right? Even if it's just like 1 or 2 games or something, even if it was a long time ago, they at least recognize what Final Fantasy is. The Final Fantasy brand is, very recognizable. Even if you've never played a fucking Final Fantasy game, you probably know what Final Fantasy is, at least to some degree. Goddamn, the franchise is almost 40 years old, right? In 2027, 2 years from now, the Final Fantasy brand will be 40 years old, which is just insane to think about. But I think probably the main reason why the set's doing well is because it is standard legal, which wasn't the case with previous Universe Beyond sets. I think you could play them in Commander. Maybe there's other formats you could play them, right? But you couldn't go and buy like a previous Universe Beyond set and take it to like a regular tournament and play, right? And you can now with this. So it's like, the most recent set when it comes to Magic the Gathering, which has a bunch of new cards in it. And also like Final Fantasy versions of old cards, right? So like, it's the newest set. Like, it's the same thing with any, trading card game. You buy the newest set. It's the newest cards. Usually power creep is a thing, right? Like, usually the newest set has the best cards, generally speaking. I'm not sure if that's actually the case here. I'm just, kind of guessing based on my history with trading card games. But it is the newest set, and it's standard legal. You can use it in, like, everything, right? I assume everything. So, like, why would you not buy it? So that probably helps it to a certain degree as well in terms of, like, sales. I'm actually curious on that, though, too. If you are a Magic the Gathering player with this upcoming set, like, how good is it from a competitive aspect? Like, is it like you have to buy this shit? You have to buy these cards. You have to build this particular deck for the upcoming format or whatever. Like, is that a thing? Also, the reasons for why the set is doing well. It's still a W for us Final Fantasy fans, right? It's nice to see, like, something Final Fantasy doing well in some capacity, right? I'm definitely going to be buying stuff from the set, but I don't know what yet. I haven't even looked through the entire set yet, looking at all the different cards. I'm just buying the shit for the artwork, essentially, for collectors purposes, right? I'm not buying like random booster packs and bustin' packs. I'm good on that shit. I don't need a booster box. I might buy some of like the starter decks or whatever, that type of shit. I might buy a commander deck at some point. I don't know. They're kind of pricey. My dudes, that is pretty much the video. It's been a while since we've done something like this where we take like info for a couple different games and kind of put it all into one video. We normally obviously kind of focus on like one topic for the most part when it comes to the videos that we do. I'm going to add, though, if you're watching this video today, tomorrow, the coming days, whatever the fuck, like, if there are any, like, updates to the pre-order bonuses for, Final Fantasy Tactics, Ivalice Chronicles, from other stores or sites or whatever the fuck, be sure and let me know, because I do want to do a follow-up video at some point, if that is a thing. Anyways, that is the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Social networks in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, dashingdavidbyt. That's it.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.